Fix this and all will be forgotten? Well, former President Bill Clinton essentially saying that as much in a Fusion TV interview, that no one will be talking about Obamacare once the website is working properly.
We need to see if this can be worked through. If it's worked through, I think within 4 or 5 months, people will be talking about something entirely different.
Yeah, like maybe not having health care at all. I digress. Congresswoman Michelle Bachman disagrees. She says they'll still be focused on Obamacare and all the host of problems to come, such as, Congresswoman.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. I mean, if you believe what the former president said, you'd believe in unicorns, too. I'm telling you, this is one problem after another.
There are no unicorns? Oh, go ahead.
There's one problem after another. This is whack-a-mole, and it's like a jack-in-the-box because, honestly, what people are encountering right now is the sticker shock. It's painful, and it's a monstrosity. I just went through the whole process myself. I'm forced into the exchange here in D.C., and our premium mammothly grew. We're looking at our family personally at over $2,400 a month for our premium, and our deductible went up 4 times. So this isn't just us and Congress, this is people all across America. The sticker shock is going to hit hard. Then when you actually use the Obamacare service, people are going to find out how limited their choices are on doctors, on networks. We're frantically trying to figure out, do our doctors even fit in this new network? So the problems are only beginning.
You know, Congressman, I step back from this debate on healthcare, well, we're working on. I always say, well, it depends how many get something out of it versus how many are getting burnt by it. And that'll decide its success, right? I mean, that will decide whether voters like it. If more voters like it than hate it, then it's good for Democrats. If more voters are having problems with it than not, it'll be good for Republicans. The administration's math has been, and it constantly stresses, that more will get something out of this, that those who are uninsured will be insured. The irony is, though, that more are uninsured now than when this thing first came into being. Now, they say give it time, and President Clinton's saying as much, but that's the math. And is it your feeling that the numbers are going to be 4-to-1 burnt versus those who gain 2-to-1? What's your sense?
The sense is that it was going to be far worse. It was going to be an avalanche. That's why you saw the president last Wednesday defer and delay the small business mandate. Neil, the estimate was 50 to 100 million more people were going to be losing their health insurance. We've heard about 15 million that will be losing under the current individual insurance. So it's going to be massive. What the final number will be, we don't know. But I think that, again, there's a lot of people who just aren't going to sign up. They're going to say, look, whack me with a penalty if that's what you want to do. Because, again, the dirty little secret is the fine that you pay to the government for not signing up for health insurance will come out of your tax refund. So if you construct your taxes so that you don't get a tax refund, so that you just pay taxes, then presumably you won't have a fine down the road. So people are going to game this system because, quite frankly, they can't afford it. I talked to a restaurant owner over the weekend. He owns 9 restaurants. And he told me, you know, he's forcing good and decent people who follow the rules to be corrupt. He said, I don't want to be corrupt. Nobody does. But how are we going to stay in business? This is a really tough situation.
But it is the law, and it sort of stumbles on. Are you hoping, or your colleagues hoping, that it dies of its own weight? Because that's easier said than done.
I hope it goes away. I'm the author of the bill to repeal Obamacare. We want this to go away because it's killing jobs in this country. It's killing the economy. It's hurting people's lives in a real-time basis. Middle class to poor to wealthy people. So does it bug you then, Congresswoman? I'm sorry, ma'am, but does it bug you when Democrats just want, yeah, they're good at bashing, but they haven't a plan of their own, when in fact, Republicans, last count, I think had half a dozen different plans. But that's the argument they raise, that Republicans just want to annihilate this thing and offer nothing in return. Well, because they're being political. Let's face it. If you really do want to address this situation, do one thing. Let people buy any health insurance policy they want anywhere in America with no minimum federal requirement. You do that alone, you solve all sorts of problems of access to health care. And then give a liability shield to anyone who wants to offer charitable health care. If you do that, you can deal with the poor, you can deal with the middle class, you can deal with the wealthy, and then this thing sorts itself out pretty fast.
All right, Congresswoman, thank you very much. I mentioned that, as I was saying to the Congresswoman, because the argument is, well, there are no alternative plans. So you might not like those alternative plans, but there are at least 6 out there, all of varying degrees, one for outright full privatization, another advocating tort reform, aggressive tort reform, some very little tort reform. But there are alternatives out there. You don't have to like them all, much less the president's plan. But there are a lot of them bubbling out there. It's your choice if it ever comes to that. Meanwhile, he was a key vote for Obamacare then. What does the former Senator Ben Nelson make of it now? He is in perhaps an even more crucial position to decide.